Hi, I'm Julie Weber of Liberate Ministries, and today's topic is called Finding Life and Purpose 2. This is video 2 of a 2-part video series. All my information is quoted from my Lady Liberty workbook on pages 117 through 120. Well, finding life, natural and spiritual. Natural life is ability. Ability is defined as competence in an activity or occupation because of one's skill, training, or other qualifications. For example, the ability to sing well. What do you like to do? I encourage you to take an inventory of your likes and dislikes. What you can do naturally and enjoy doing can be a clue to walking in your purpose. For example, one of my art instructors gave me some wise advice when I was seeking what classes I should be taking at the art school where I had recently studied. And she asked me, well, what kind of art do you like to do? And I began to narrow down what art I liked and what medium I wanted to work in, and I didn't know. So we decided the best direction for me was to start taking classes and see what I didn't like. She said the more different kinds of art classes that I took, the more it would help me eliminate those things I didn't like and eventually discover things that I did like. As I did this, I kept a journal of what mediums and subjects of art I liked and disliked. I also wrote down why I didn't like something or why I did. This would be a good exercise for you to do. Keep a journal or make a list of subjects that you like. Write down things that you like about it and things that you don't. You are not wasting your time. What you are looking for are activities, experiences, and accomplishments that will help you discover more about your natural talents and abilities. Spiritual life is talent. Talent is defined as a power of mind or body given to a person for use and improvement. Like in the parable in Matthew 25:14 through 30. Spiritual gifts are defined as a special divine empowerment bestowed on each believer by the Holy Spirit to accomplish a given ministry God's way, according to His grace and discernment to be used within the context of the body of Christ. Knowing your spiritual gifts will help in all areas of life. Taking a spiritual inventory gives you insight into the strengths that God has placed in you. There are many tests that you can take that will help. Choose a test that you are comfortable with. I have attached to this video website information for a spiritual gifts inventory test. What are you doing with your gifts and talents? God expects us to use our talents. So according to the parable of the 3 servants, the one who buried his talent and didn't use them was called a wicked and lazy and idle servant. Let's read Matthew 25:24 through 30. He who had received 1 talent also came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a harsh and a hard man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you had not winnowed the grain. So I was afraid, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. Well, here you have what is your own. But his master answered him, You wicked and lazy and idle servant, did you indeed know I reap where I have not sowed, and gather grain where I have not winnowed? Then you should have invested my money with the bankers, and at my coming I would have received what was my own with interest. For to everyone who has will be given, and he will be furnished richly, so that he will have an abundance. But from the one who does not have, even what he does have will be taken away. And throw the good-for-nothing servant into the outer darkness. There will be weeping and grinding of teeth. Purpose. What the Bible says. The following scripture shows that our purpose was defined by God since the beginning of time. So we all have had a destiny with appointed days and times that was planned out before we were born. In this case, Jeremiah was appointed to be a prophet. Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. It is our responsibility to find out what our purpose is in life. Proverbs 25 says, the purposes of a man's heart are deep waters, but a man of understanding draws them out. So God put us here to fulfill His purposes. We can choose to go after things of this world or go after the things of God that have eternal value. Blending natural talents and spiritual gifts by the leading of God. When we include God in discovering and developing our natural talent and spiritual gifts, powerful things happen. The natural and the spiritual come together. With God as our partner, our lives can come together in such a way that we could never imagine possible. Let's take the art example I shared earlier in this lesson. There was a period of a couple of years I spent time discovering and developing my natural art abilities that God gave me. And while at the same time I was prompted spiritually by God to write and publish my testimony. On the surface, these two events seemed disconnected. However, when it came time for publishing the book, Lady Liberty, a post-abortive story of healing, it was a miracle that I had just finished the 2 cast drawings that I ended up using on the cover. Furthermore, when the book was published, the first place that it was marketed and accepted was in the art community where I was developing my natural artistic talent. This is just one example of God's amazing ability to blend the spiritual and the natural together. I have experienced many more similar happenings since I have turned my natural talents and spiritual gifts over to God. So my advice to you is to surrender both areas over to the leading of God so that He can combine them and use them in powerful ways for you. This is my book, my Lady Liberty book, and behind me is the cast drawing that I did. I had done a couple of cast drawings, and this one right there is it's called the Pieta, after the antique, and I took that drawing and I put it right here on the cover of my book. Okay. All right. Okay, I should say that it is possible to keep our spiritual and natural talents separate. For example, you can be a naturally gifted speaker but refuse to open your mouth when talking spiritual things. Or you could be known as a great organizer or of spiritual things in your community but refuse to organize anything within your circle of friends or workplace. While this is okay, it may not be the best or the most powerful use of our natural talents and spiritual gifts. The combination of the two is best. Combining talents, ability, and spiritual gifting has helped me to be more effective with what I do in Liberate Ministries and as an artist. Proverbs 57:2. I cry out to God Most High, to God who fulfills His purpose for me. Rick Warren quotes from his book, The Purpose-Driven Life, that without God, life has no purpose, and without purpose, life has no meaning. Without meaning, life has no significance or hope. The Bible says in the Great Commission that we are to go out into the world and preach the gospel. This scripture Jesus left us with is written to everyone, confirming that we all have a ministry to fulfill here on earth. Maturity and time. So God wants us to grow and mature like His Son Jesus did. We all grow up, but we don't always mature. So as we grow, we should be letting go of our selfish ways of thinking and begin to think the way Jesus did. When you read the Bible, you see that Jesus was thinking of others and doing the will of His Father in heaven, displaying selfless thinking and generosity toward others. Being healed makes all the difference. When you are hurting emotionally, it is hard to focus in life. When you can't focus, it is hard to work. If you can't work, it is hard to set goals. If you don't have goals, it is hard to get up and go to work with a purpose. For example, in my earlier years of doing art, I did it, but not to the extent that I am doing it today. After I went through my healing class, I was able to focus on art better because I had gotten rid of the negative emotions and received healing for the wounded emotions. When I am emotionally upset, it is hard to do art. I had no self-confidence or self-esteem to believe that I could even learn something, much less be strong enough to receive the criticism as you put yourself on display as an artist. Lack of purpose is costly. There is a high cost we pay as individuals and as a society when people are kept from their God-given purpose. It is easy to think that our lives have no effect on others around us. This is not true. We do have an impact on the world around us, either positively or negatively, but never neutral. This is what Christian speaker and author Dr. Miles Monroe has to say. The wealthiest spot on this planet is not the oil fields of Kuwait, Iraq, or Saudi Arabia. Neither is it the gold or the diamond mines of South Africa, the uranium mines of the Soviet Union, or the silver mines of Africa. The richest deposits on our planet lie in our local graveyards. Buried beneath the soil within the walls of those sacred grounds are dreams that never came to pass, songs that were never sung, books that were never written, paintings that were never filled a canvas, ideas that were never shared, visions that never became reality, inventions that were never designed, plans that never went beyond the drawing board of the mind, and purposes that were never fulfilled. Let me pray for you. Dear God, help all of those watching to work the process of finding life and discovering their purpose of why you put them on this earth. Help them to see how valuable they are to you. Give them faith, patience, love, and endurance to walk this out in completion. Amen. Thanks for watching. Live life liberated.